We made it. We made it, guys. We made it. It's over. We made it to the final episode of the Fire Brett Brown podcast because, quite honestly, I'm checking my watch every couple seconds. He's going to be fired today. What is up, guys? DJ Eastwood, run it back, home of the most brutally honest Philly sports takes on YouTube. Some people don't like it, but some people don't like the truth. Please do me a huge favor, hit the subscribe button if you are watching this video. I know only 50% of you that watch these videos are subscribed to the channel. Do me the huge favor of hitting that button. I give you these videos for free. All I want is for you to hit the subscribe button. And please hit the like button on the video. And hit the notification bell that dings your phone like an annoying girlfriend, except it's not your girlfriend asking you why that other girl is texting you. It's me talking about Brett Brown. How much better can you get? Of course, we got to start out the podcast with the Trey Burke watch. Trey Burke started the game for the Mavericks last night alongside Luka Doncic. And he put up 25 points alongside Luka Doncic's 43-point insane triple-double and buzzer-beater game winner against the Clippers. Put some respect on Trey Burke's name, please. This guy couldn't get on the floor for the Sixers team, who needs ball-handling guards who can shoot like Jeffrey Dahmer needed a body pillow. So what's the difference between the Mavs head coach and the Sixers head coach? The Mavericks head coach sees a ball-handling guard who can score points and says, I'm going to put him on the floor alongside Luka Doncic, and the defense isn't going to know what to do. Only one time did Brett Brown do this with Trey Burke. One single time, and yeah, it was against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but Trey Burke played 28 minutes alongside Ben Simmons. He had 21 points and 8 assists, and Ben Simmons had a 34-point night and sat out the fourth quarter because they were going back and forth, pick and roll, pick and pop. Ben Simmons even hit a wide-open three-pointer off of a pick and pop with Trey Burke, which is the most basic play to get a power forward like Ben Simmons wide open for three. And then not only did he bench Trey Burke for the rest of the season, we hardly ever saw Ben Simmons run another pick and pop the rest of the season. These are very basic coaching strategies and decisions. Very basic. Brett Brown just doesn't have it from the most basic level. Stop lying to yourself. He just doesn't have it. I went back and forth with my guy Broads on Twitter last night. And listen, that's my dude. I'm not trying to trash Broads by any means. Great channel. I'm sure a lot of you guys watch his stuff. No negative stuff about Broads in the comments will ever be tolerated. But he wants to die on this hill. And I would love to debate this on YouTube. I think it would be great for YouTube. But anyway, we gave it to Twitter for free, I guess. At I am DJ Eastwood, by the way. He wants to die on this hill that Trey Burke sucks. And Brett Brown cutting Trey Burke has nothing to do with the Sixers' demise. And listen, keeping Trey Burke, obviously, we still would have lost to the Celtics. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, none of us are saying, Trey Burke was the savior and Trey Burke was going to take this team to the promised land and beat the Celtics in the first round of the playoffs. What we're saying is, clearly and quite obviously, cutting Trey Burke on a team that needs a ball-handling scorer off the bench is fucking stupid. And keeping Hal Neto over him, who can't give you anything, is fucking stupid. And it's a small-scale example of how Brett Brown just cannot manage a basketball team. He just cannot decide which player should be on the floor. He's so bad at it. That's why the Trey Burke thing is hilarious, because now a better coach is valuing Trey Burke's skill set and starting him and beating the Clippers in the playoffs. Give me a break. Oh, inhaled some coffee right there. Ben Simmons tweeted, tough to watch my team get swept and I never want to be in this position again. And I'm going to look at the underline. I'm going to read between the lines here. Ben Simmons isn't talking about his injury in this tweet. Obviously, he's injured. He never wants to be injured again and have to watch his team play in the playoffs without him. If that's the only thing that he meant to say, that's what he would have said. It wasn't fun watching my team play in the playoffs without me. I never want to experience that again. I never want to watch my team get swept again. He knows, as well as I know, as well as Joel Embiid knows, as well as Jimmy Butler knew. This coach gotta go. This coach gotta go. Hey, where are all the built for the playoffs people? Where are all the, this team is built for the playoffs? All season long, you guys were in the comments. By the way, 246 days ago, I put out a video explaining how ass backwards this offense is, explaining playing with 2 centers and 3 forwards on the floor is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. I put out this video 246 days ago saying Brett Brown needs to change what he's doing right now or this team is done for, and they went all the way to the playoffs and got swept. And the whole time, every video back then in the comments, they just wait, just be patient. This team is built for the playoffs. This team is built for the playoffs. The playoffs is a slower game. The playoffs is a slowed down defensive game. Are you kidding me, man? Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray just dropped 50 apiece last night. It's 2020. This is a scoring league. I can't believe you guys said this all season. Stop giving me built for the playoffs bullshit. You can't play 2 centers in 2020. End of story, period. There's no way around it. What would be different in the playoffs that would make that okay? And that's what I want to get to. Everybody wants to say the playoffs is a slower game. It's a slowed down game. Why? What does that mean? It's a basketball game. 1 basketball, 10 guys, same court, same basket here, same basket here. Why would they suddenly play the game slower? I want to know. Is the coach on the sideline like, hey guys, all these fast breaks we're doing here, cut it out, bro. It's the playoffs. Stop scoring points on the fast break. It's the playoffs. We got to play slow. It doesn't make sense. Would 2 players just randomly play slower when it's the playoffs? I'm thinking logically about this. It's a slower game. The Sixers are built for the playoffs, and it never made sense to me. I don't really want to talk about the Sixers game yesterday because I'm not going to lie to you. First of all, I took the Boston Celtics in a 3-team parlay because that was an easy bet to win. And I lost the bet because Denver lost by 2. I didn't even watch the game live. I was playing basketball myself out here in Hummelstown on a concrete court. And I'm 34 years old. Yeah, you know what? My knee hurts, my ankle hurts, my shoulders hurt. But I wanted to get some running yesterday. I would have rather put my body through physical pain on a concrete basketball court for 3 hours than watch this Sixers team play the final game of this season. But hey, I'll give it to them. They went out swinging. Joel Embiid once again played hard. Tobias Harris hit his head on the floor, got stitches in the locker room, came back into the game because he didn't want to leave his guys hanging. I admire it, but let's just call it what it is. Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, and Jaylen Brown are just too much for the Sixers to defend. End of story. I saw this coming a mile away. I saw it coming a mile away like a dust storm in the distance. How could you not see it? It covers the whole sky. It's a black cloud coming right for you. You guys were just choosing not to see it. That's all. That's all. You were choosing not to. Cannot guard a team full of ball-handling shooters with 2 centers and a power forward playing small forward and a Josh Richardson who I don't even know what he does anymore. You just can't. There was no way. It was physically impossible to win this series. It was physically impossible. I did think maybe the Sixers would squeeze out a win. I did think maybe they would steal 1 game. I thought maybe they would get hot from 3-1 game and the Celtics would go cold or something and the Sixers would pull out at least 1 win. I did not predict them to get swept, but it is what it is. The faster we can get this over with, the better as far as I'm concerned. There's 2 things that will not be tolerated with the closing of this season. Absolutely no Joel Embiid slander will be tolerated. This guy played with players who looked like they didn't want to be out there 90% of the time. This was the only guy working his ass off every single possession. And he put up 26 and 15, 30 and 10, 30 and 16, and another 30 and 10. You can't tell me a guy averaging 30 points and 12 rebounds in a playoff series is the guy to blame. There's so much slander that can go on with this organization. You are not going to slander the guy that averaged 30 and 15 in a playoff series. And if you do, fuck you. There will also be no Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid trade talks in the comments tolerated. None. These guys have never played without Brett Brown. You got to understand that. And if you look at the 2017-2018 team, there was spacing, there was shooters. Brian Colangelo, although he got fired for his wife making tweets or whatever, and yeah, the Markelle Fultz pick turned out to be a bad pick, but it was the right pick at the time that everybody in that situation would have made. And if you say no to that, you're lying to yourself also. But Brian Colangelo is actually an experienced general manager when it comes to basketball. And he knew I need to put shooters around Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. That's what I need to do. He went out and got Bellinelli, Ilyasova, kept J.J. Redick, drafted Landry Shamet. Shooters! Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons need the right players around them. And Al Horford is 100% not that player. Tobias Harris, to me, is 95% not that player. Because as far as I see it, Ben Simmons needs to play power forward because he won't shoot the ball. He can't play point guard from the top of the key. Don't even argue this in the comments. I don't want to hear it. Tobias Harris can't play small forward because he can't beat a small forward off the dribble and he can't defend a small forward. He's a very nice power forward in today's NBA. He's a very nice stretch four in today's NBA. He has to play power forward. But Ben Simmons has to play power forward. You need a point guard who can run the team from the top of the key. You need a shooting guard who can score points, who can actually score points. You need a small forward who can be a nice wing defender and a three-point specialist. And you need Ben Simmons at the 4 and Joel Embiid at the 5 and a different head coach. That's exactly what you need. Tobias Harris, to me, doesn't even fit in those plans. I would move both of those contracts yesterday. Now, let's talk about Brett Brown's future. I almost said future with the Philadelphia 76ers. Why would I even say this? Tweets from Shams, tweets from all kinds of NBA accounts saying, according to Shams, who's the Yahoo Sports whatever, the Sixers are expected to fire Brett Brown today. Today. Brett knows it's coming. Everybody knows it's coming. Why sit on it? Why wait on it? Why have a meeting? Bring him in, talk to him. Why? You know what I mean? I got fired from a job one time years ago. The manager called me and he's like, hey, can you come in? Can you come in? We don't need you to work tonight, but I need you to come in. We got to talk to you. And I was like, are you firing me? And he was like, I can't talk about that over the phone. And I was like, well, I'm not going to come in there to get fired. Just tell me right now if I'm getting fired. And he wouldn't tell me, and somebody else told me you're getting fired. So I called him back and said, hey, I'm not coming in. You're firing me. Don't have a meeting to fire somebody. Just fire him right now. Let's go over the 5 things Brett Brown did wrong on the Philadelphia 76ers. And it was very difficult for me to narrow this down to 5 things because there's 10,000 things that he did wrong dating back to 2007-16. But I kind of quickly broke it down to 5 things that I think he did wrong. Number 5. We're going to rank these from 5 to 1. Least important to most important. Or least egregious to most egregious. Number 5 maybe should be higher, honestly, because it does have a lot to do with this bench. Cutting Trey Burke and James Ennis and keeping Hal Neto and Furkan Korkmaz. That's inexcusable. That's indefensible. There's nothing you can say about this. Trey Burke and James Ennis, clearly way better bench players, even borderline starting players, and Hal Neto and Furkan Korkmaz are barely even NBA talent. That's just insane that somebody cut those 2 players and kept these 2 players. That's the actual coaching decision that he made. That's as far as I'm going to go into number 5. That's just ridiculous. Number 4, drafted Mikal Bridges and traded him for Zaire Smith 38 minutes later. The Sixers, going into that draft, were in win now mode. Win now. Everybody knew it. And they drafted a player, a hometown kid from Philadelphia. His mom works for the damn Sixers. He played for Villanova. I get so angry even thinking about it. They draft a player who's a 3 and D player. He can catch and shoot, and he can play perimeter defense. And 38 minutes later, they traded him for another project. You're in win now mode, and you trade a player you can use right now for another 18-year-old project who you're going to try to develop. This front office can't develop anybody. And I just want to say this from a basketball standpoint, like not just the Sixers. Anytime I see a player who's athletic as hell and has absolutely no offensive basketball game whatsoever, like shot broken. I'm not talking Matisse Thybulle level. Matisse Thybulle at least has a decent looking shot and can finish around the rim. He can improve in certain areas. But a player like Zaire Smith, when a player's shot is broken and it doesn't look like a good shot, I want nothing to do with these guys that think they can develop a shot, that think they can change a shot form and teach them how to shoot. You learn how to shoot when you're 8 years old, when you're 9, 10 years old, maybe 11 or 12 years old. I taught myself how to shoot in gym class because we watched an instructional video. I swear to God, it's a true story. Because we watched an instructional video on proper shot form, and the guy on the video said your shooting hand should be like throwing a dart in a straight line and flick your wrist. I swear to God, this video in gym class taught me how to shoot. And I went on the court and I practiced. Straight line, flick of the wrist. And yeah, you're going to airball a bunch of them when you're first trying to change a shot form when you're 12 years old. But over time, I developed a perfect looking jump shot. You'll learn it at a young age. If you're 19 years old about to be drafted in the NBA and you don't have a jump shot, you're not getting one. I'm sorry. Number 3. When Markelle Fultz was coming around playing well, when Markelle Fultz was coming back from his shooting debacle or whatever, and he was actually playing well, Brett Brown continuously benched him for TJ McConnell. Continuously benched him for TJ McConnell. I couldn't believe it back then, and it's just 2 seasons later, he's doing the same thing with other players. It started all the way back then. This guy could never evaluate talent. One time, Markelle Fultz had 16 points at halftime against the Orlando Magic, funny enough, and Brett Brown benched him the second half for TJ McConnell, and he actually said in the post-game interview he played TJ over Markelle for defensive reasons. TJ McConnell. Markelle Fultz is 6'5" with a 7-foot wingspan, and you played a 5'10" little guy who can't defend a fly for defensive reasons. Number 2. Continuing to play Al Horford and Joel Embiid on the court together because he coached the Spurs for 12 years behind Greg Popovich. Brett Brown didn't coach the Spurs. Greg Popovich coached the Spurs. I don't know why he said that in a pregame or postgame or whatever it was. That's a ridiculous thing to say. You didn't coach the Spurs, okay? You were there for 12 seasons because you weren't good enough to be a head coach. Continuing to play Al Horford and Joel Embiid on the court together is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And then you play a team that has a bunch of ball-handling guards, and you continue to play 2 centers, and Al Horford can't guard the perimeter. It's just stupid. It's so obvious, man. That's number 2. I don't even want to go deeper into that. And number 1 is he tried to make Ben Simmons a point guard. Now, if you can evaluate talent at all, you could see from the jump, Ben Simmons was a very dominant power forward in college. He was dominant. He had a 47-point triple-double in college or something like that. He was dominant in the paint. You had to draft him knowing he was going to be primarily a paint type of player and surround him with the right players. Just because he can handle the ball in the fast break and make nice passes does not make him a floor general point guard. He is not a point guard. It was obvious from day one. It never worked. It never worked. And then teams started playing 20 feet off of him, guarding him with Aaron Baines in the paint from another stratosphere, and he's standing up there wide open and won't shoot the ball. You just made Ben Simmons look stupid for 3 seasons. It never worked. It never should have been tried. That's number 1. Now let's go over a couple more things here because a lot of information is coming out as we get closer to the Sixers letting go of Brett Brown. Yesterday, some stuff got leaked, according to multiple sources or according to a source or per source or whatever. Brett Brown had a hand in dismantling the team that had Jimmy Butler because he didn't like Jimmy Butler's outspoken attitude. And that's because Brett Brown is soft. And that's all it is. Jimmy Butler is a Philadelphia type of player. Hard-nosed, blue-collar, hard worker, gonna speak his mind, and is gonna lead a team. Look at the Miami Heat right now. He's leading a bunch of young guys, and they're 3-0 in the playoffs. Because you need a player like Jimmy Butler. You need the loud guy that's gonna tell you, hey, shoot the fucking ball. Why are you playing like that? Get off your ass and play defense. Yo, I need some help over here. Let's go. You need that kind of player. Joel Embiid's not that guy. He's not going to call anyone out. He's too nice. Ben Simmons is too nice. All these guys are too nice. Jimmy did not like Brett Brown. Brett Brown was on his pedestal, and I know everybody always says how nice of a guy he is. I think he's a smart guy, but I think definitely he's underlying narcissist. He's underlying arrogant about himself and his position, and he thought he was above Jimmy Butler. I'm not going to have a player in here telling me I'm doing things wrong. I coached the Spurs to 4 championships. I coached Tim Duncan for 12 years. You don't know what you're talking about, Jimmy Butler. Get out of here. Get out of here. Apparently, Ben Simmons didn't like a text message that Jimmy Butler sent in a group message telling him what to do in an upcoming playoff game. So, Brett Brown and Jimmy Butler was never going to work. Okay, well, you can see that from the jump. But anybody with a couple of brain cells in their brain would have fired Brett Brown and kept Jimmy Butler. And I want to get into how I think Brett kind of undermined Elton Brand's decisions a lot in a second. But anybody with a brain cell would have fired Brett Brown and kept Jimmy Butler. The reason he didn't get fired is because Brett Brown still had a huge hand in all of the decisions that were being made. Elton Brand was hired with the agreement that it was going to be a collaborative effort. Him and Brett Brown were going to make decisions together. And if you really look at all the decisions that were made, Elton Brand was trying to give the team what it needed, and Brett Brown kept saying no. Elton Brand trades for Jimmy Butler. If he knew Brett Brown wasn't going to like him and was going to get rid of him a year later, would he have made the trade and given up everything he gave up for it? No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have given up Covington and Dario and these guys if he knew he was only going to get him for one season. The idea was that he was going to get him long term. And Butler probably agreed to that in a meeting. Hey, if I like the team and the organization, I'll sign long term. Let's go. Me, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, let's win a championship. The coach sabotaged that. Elton Brand tried to give the team what they needed. Jimmy Butler, the coach, sabotaged it. Fast forward a year or two later, going into the offseason, we knew this bench is weak. We need a spark off the bench. Elton Brand tries to give you a spark off the bench. He goes out and signs Trey Burke, who can get buckets off the bench. Brett Brown says no. Benches him the whole season. Eventually cuts him. Brett Brown sabotaged that decision from Elton Brand. That's why I think Elton Brand is not going to be fired. Because Elton Brand is going to say, hey, can you guys finally let me run this team myself? Now I'm starting to think the Al Horford contract was Brett Brown's decision also. Because he coached the Spurs. We can dominate in the post. We can dominate in the post. I coached the Spurs to 4 championships. I'm starting to think Brett Brown is the main culprit in all of these decisions. The last rumor I want to go over is the Mikal Bridges trade. There's a rumor that was actually the idea of one of the owners. And that is really what's going on here. If you have ownership making basketball decisions, you are fucked. You can't run a basketball team like that. Mark Cuban, okay, because Mark Cuban was a basketball fan his whole life, hit big on some internet thing that he had back in the day, sold it for $500 million, became a multi-millionaire, bought a basketball team because he loved basketball. He knows a little bit about it. I would say the Clippers owner knows a little bit about basketball also. There's exceptions to this rule that I'm saying. But Josh Harris and these guys, they own the New Jersey Devils. They own they just own a lot of things. They don't know anything about basketball. And one of the owners had an idea and he thought Zaire Smith was like the next coming something because he saw him do a 360 dunk in a college game. Athleticism it does not make you a good basketball player. But people outside of it that don't really understand the game might see a 360 dunk in a college game and be like, oh, that guy's going to be amazing in the NBA. We got to get him. We got to get him. He doesn't have any game, bro. When you have ownership making decisions like that and influencing the coach and the GM, you're screwed. It's never going to work. So the owners either have to accept the fact that they were wrong in some of these decisions that they had a hand in and shut the fuck up for the rest of their lives, or they need to sell the team. Because if you think you're going to be a Mark Cuban, you're not going to be. That's all I got left, man. I feel like a weight has been lifted. This disaster of a Sixers season is over. I never have to watch another 2 center, 3 forward lineup for the rest of my life. It's somebody said on Twitter, my guy Knowledge717 said, it looks like an intramural basketball team, or it looks like a pickup game, and 2 centers and 3 forward. It's insane. I never want to watch that again. I would like to watch what I'm watching from the Dallas Mavericks right now, or what I'm watching from the Portland Trailblazers right now. I would like to watch 2 or 3 guards on the floor, passing the ball around, getting open shots at the top on the perimeter, and a center in the middle. That's what I would like to watch. I would love to watch a Seth Curry, a Tim Hardaway Jr., a Trey Burke, a Luka Doncic, all on the floor together, sharing the ball and scoring points. I don't ever want to see, again, Al Horford, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons team. That is a brick wall. I don't know why we ever thought that was going to work. I was duped. Some of you guys get in the comments saying, oh, in the offseason last year, you were saying this was a championship team. Yeah, they sold it to me. I bought it, hook, line, and sinker. I admit that. I was totally wrong. Who are you telling? You're telling me in the comments I was wrong. I didn't have a crystal ball 12 months ago? I didn't know it was going to be this big of a disaster. They sold it to me. They made me think it was going to be great. All of us got duped. We don't need to call each other out here. But I'm allowed to be angry that it didn't work. I'm allowed to be angry right now, and I'm angry at myself for believing it. That's all I got, guys. If we get any news coming up with Brett Brown, the firing, the front office, the general manager position, anything going forward, there will be a video. Hit the notification bell so you get dinged. Your phone gets dinged whenever I post a video. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the love you showed me all season, preseason, NBA restart. I seriously appreciate you guys. You'll never know how much I appreciate you. This channel has taken off recently. It took me 6 months to hit 100 subscribers when I first started this channel. It took me 6 months to hit 100 subscribers, and right now I'm doing 700 subscribers per month. So thank you guys. The channel is growing like crazy. I appreciate you. You'll never understand how much I appreciate you, man. My name is DJ Eastwood. This is Run It Back. This is the final episode of the Fire Brett Brown podcast. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Hit the like button. Thank you. Have a great day.